Hello students, welcome to TPS Siliguri online class day 4. Yesterday I told you about the revolution of the earth and effects of revolution. So what is revolution? When planet earth revolves around the sun in a fixed path, that is called revolution. And what are the effects of revolution? When earth revolves, due to that season changes, and also there is variation in length of day and night. Yesterday I already taught you why do we have variation in length of day and night. Today I will explain about the changes of season. So, as you know, our planet Earth revolves around the sun on its own orbit, and the orbit of planet Earth is elliptical. And you know also that when the earth revolves, along with that rotate also on its axis, and the axis is tilted at an angle of 23 and half degree. So because of the revolution and tilted axis of planet earth, we have different seasons throughout the year. As you know, earth complete one revolution around the sun in 1 year, or 365 days and 6 hours, and the orbit of the earth is elliptical. While the earth is revolving around the sun, it also rotates on its axis, and the axis of the earth is tilted at an angle of 23 and half degree, and that's why sun shines differently on the earth at different times of the year. So, we have summer, autumn, winter, spring in a year. So, these are the different seasons which comes one after another. Now, question is, why do we have different types of season, or why it is summer in the month of June and July, and why it is winter during December, January? So, as you can see here in this diagram, this is North Pole and this is South Pole, and this is the imaginary axis of our planet Earth, which is tilted at an angle of 23 and half degree. So, during the month of June and July, northern hemisphere is tilted towards the sun. As you can see, north pole is getting here sun rays, and south pole is away from the sunlight. And during this time, southern hemisphere is getting tilted sun rays, and it is the maximum part of southern hemisphere is away from the vertical sun rays, and that's why during the month of June and July we have summer in northern hemisphere, and north pole has continuous day for 6 months, and in southern hemisphere we have winter, and south pole experiences continuous night for 6 months. During this time, length of day is maximum and length of night is minimum in northern hemisphere, and in southern hemisphere length of night is maximum and length of day is minimum. That's why during the month of June and July we have summer in northern hemisphere, whereas the opposite season we have in southern hemisphere, as because it is away from the sun. As the earth revolves around the sun, we move towards another season, that is autumn. So during the month of September, each hemisphere, that means northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere, gets equal amount of sun ray, and that's why during this time we have equal day and night. It is because during this time sun rays fall directly over equator. That means the equator gets direct sun rays, and that's why during this time we have equal day and night in both the hemisphere. Next reason is winter. So as the earth revolves around the sun, we move towards the another season, that is winter. During winter season, southern hemisphere get direct sun rays, or southern hemisphere is closer to the sun and northern hemisphere is away from the sun. So in this diagram you can see during the winter season south pole gets sun rays, whereas north pole is away from the sun rays, or it is totally dark. So during the month of January, as the north pole away from the sun, that's why northern hemisphere experiences winter, whereas southern hemisphere is closer to the sun, that's why southern hemisphere experiences summer. And the duration of day is longer in southern hemisphere and night is shorter, whereas the duration of day is shorter and night is longer in northern hemisphere. Then another season is spring. So during the month of March, April, we have spring season. So during that time the equator gets direct sun rays. That's why the duration of day and night is equal in both the hemisphere. That means in northern hemisphere we have 12 hours day and night, as well as in southern hemisphere also we have 12 hours day and night. So in this way season changes from summer to autumn, autumn to winter, winter to spring, and again spring to summer. So in this way season changes from one after another, and it happens only because of the revolution of the earth around the sun, as well as the axis or tilted axis of our planet earth. Do you know when it is summer in India, at the same time it is winter in Australia? Yes, it is because India is in northern hemisphere and Australia is in southern hemisphere. So when northern hemisphere experiences summer, that time southern hemisphere experiences winter, and when northern hemisphere experiences winter, that time southern hemisphere experiences summer. So you learn how with the different hemisphere we have difference in season. Revolution results not only change of seasons but also for formation of solstice and equinox. Now question is, what is equinox and solstice? So when the length of day and night is equal, that is called equinox. The meaning of equinox is equal. And what is solstice? When the length of day is maximum and night is minimum or opposite, that is called solstice. Reason behind the formation of solstice and equinox is angle of the sun rays that fall on the earth's surface, and also the axis of the earth, that means the tilted axis of the earth. So as because of these two reasons we have solstice and equinox. There are two solstices and two equinox. One is summer solstice and winter solstice. Another is spring equinox and autumnal equinox. Now I will explain about solstice and equinox in details. So, as you know, the orbit of planet Earth is elliptical, and the distance between Sun and Earth is not same throughout the year. Sometimes it is closer and sometimes it's far from each other. Along with that, the axis of planet Earth is tilted. It is at an angle of 23 and half degree. Due to these reasons, length of day and night is different at different latitudes. As we are moving from equator towards the north pole or south pole, length of day and night changes, but the length of day and night is same, that is 12 hours day and 12 hours night at equator, because equator gets vertical sun rays throughout the year. On 21st June, sun rays fall directly over Tropic of Cancer, and in northern hemisphere the duration of day is longer and night is shorter, or in northern hemisphere days are long and nights are short. That is called summer solstice. And on 23rd September, sun rays fall directly over equator. As you know, equator divides the earth into equal halves, north pole and south pole. That's why the length of day and night is same in both the hemisphere, and it is called autumnal equinox. Then next is on 22nd December, sun rays fall directly over Tropic of Capricorn here in southern hemisphere, and the days are long and nights are short in southern hemisphere, and days are short and nights are long in northern hemisphere. That is called winter solstice. And on 22nd March, again sun rays fall directly over the equator, and the length of day and night is equal in both the hemisphere, and it is called spring equinox. Now I will explain about the summer solstice in details. Every year on 21st of June, sun rays fall directly on Tropic of Cancer, and this time northern hemisphere tilted maximum towards the sun and experience longest day and shortest night. This is known as summer solstice. So, what is summer solstice? When Tropic of Cancer get direct sun rays and the duration of day is maximum and night is minimum in northern hemisphere, that is called summer solstice. North Pole experiences 6 months continuous day during this time, as because the North Pole is tilted towards the sun. Countries like India, USA and European countries experiences summer during this time. The conditions are totally opposite in southern hemisphere, as because it is away from the sun, that's why the length of day is shorter and night is longer, and south pole is away from the sun, that's why in south pole 6th month is continuous night. During this time, those countries are located in southern hemisphere, they experiences winter season. So during summer solstice, the northern hemisphere experiences summer, but southern hemisphere experiences winter. That's why we celebrate Christmas during winter, but the countries located in southern hemisphere, they celebrate in summer.